As Melbourne Anglicans, it's a great privilege to belong to a church where we find belonging, connection, meaning and challenge. Rich traditions draw us into the presence of God, form us in the faith founded on the saving and liberating power of Christ. We're served by a wealth and diversity of buildings that provide a context for worship, learning and service. Our buildings are part of a wonderful heritage. Since the beginning of the diocese in the 1840s, we've been actively acquiring land and building places of worship. The foresight, sacrifice and dedication of faithful Anglicans of past generations means that we have the many churches, schools and other buildings that serve us today. In the 1950s, the diocese launched an initiative called Forward Move to establish parish centres in what was then the outskirts of Melbourne. Significant resources were deployed to establish churches in places like this.
St Alfred's began in 1962 as a church plant of St John's, Blackburn. Initially, the clergy of St John's gave leadership, while a strong team of lay leaders developed here at St Alfred's. From the outset, we've been committed to children's and youth ministry. We've kept preaching the gospel, teaching the Bible, and helping people become disciples of Christ. There are many open doors into this church: playgroups, holiday programs, Alpha, all sorts of activities. What's here today is the result of 50 years of hard work, prayer and God's grace.
Since the 1950s, Melbourne's suburbs have expanded enormously. Whole new suburbs are still springing up on the urban fringe, with no local Anglican presence. Demographers predict Greater Melbourne and Geelong will be Australia's largest population centre by 2037. The majority of our current property assets are concentrated towards the centre of the metropolitan area. Our challenge is to establish many more new centres to serve the growing outer urban population. When strategically placed, church buildings are vital community infrastructure and provide a primary base for service and mission. It's our vision that every community in Melbourne will be served by a vibrant Anglican church. A rapidly expanding city presents us with a big challenge. As we've done in earlier seasons of urban expansion, the diocese is committed to making the most of this unique window of opportunity. We're launching a new policy direction to make best use of our resources. The key objective is to use our property assets to better serve the whole population of Greater Melbourne. We're compelled to direct our greatest effort and resources towards our biggest opportunities. Last year, Synod endorsed a number of principles to align our stewardship of property with our renewed diocesan vision, to make the Word of God fully known. Archbishop and Council has developed new policies to enact those principles. Since 1956, the Church Extension and Development Fund, CEDF, has provided funds to facilitate church growth through new and revitalised facilities. The CEDF will become a key vehicle for Archbishop and Council to enable the diocesan vision to press forward in strategically important locations. While the CEDF currently holds about $5 million, it's not nearly enough to meet the challenge of Melbourne's rapid growth. Meanwhile, we have significant capital tied up in underutilised property. In keeping with the Synod's principle, the policy for the sale of parish property deals specifically with property rendered surplus when ministry usage ceases. Proceeds from the sale of such property will be pooled and used primarily to establish new ministries in growth areas through CEDF grants. Growth areas include the outer fringes of Melbourne and Geelong and new high-density housing areas closer to the city. Early last century, people walked to shops, school and to church. So we built churches every couple of kilometres. Nowadays, people are much more mobile.
People in our 4 congregations come from all over the inner northern suburbs. We're trying to reach a variety of different people here, from students to migrants to urban professionals. Our facilities are used intensively through the week for playgroups, for youth ministry and for reaching international students.
So we don't need such a high concentration of church buildings in established areas. As some churches in developed areas close and their ministries merge with neighbouring parishes, we have surplus buildings that can be sold and funds released for ministry in areas of new population growth. Here's how we're investing in the future.
25 years ago, Berwick was changing from being a country town to being a Melbourne suburb in the Casey Growth Corridor. The Diocese encouraged us to not see ourselves as a village church anymore, and they invested in this new building which we're sitting in. There's been heaps of growth since then, and the parish has had 2 more building extensions, and we're now very well positioned to reach the 75,000 people that live in the Berwick, Narre Warren area.
Cranbourne is situated in one of the fastest growing areas of Melbourne. Already about 50,000 people live in this parish. In the next 25 years, the population will quadruple to almost 200,000 people. The Church Extension and Development Fund has made it possible to redevelop the old church site in anticipation of these significant growth needs of the future. As good as this is, it's still insufficient to meet the future church growth needs in these areas.
Footscray is an area of amazing cultural diversity. By rationalising our property and working in partnership with the Brotherhood of St Lawrence, we've been able to revitalise the space here at St John's and create important community facilities.
The restored buildings provide facilities for important community development work, including a legal service and a range of youth projects. We will be able to continue our English language program for migrant adults and tutoring for local students. We've even prepared a community garden. These facilities provide opportunity for pastoral care and practical support.
Here at Sunshine, we've merged 2 congregations and consolidated our property to create a ministry hub where the parish, Anglicare and Benetas can share in a new facility.
Ministering in a parish where one shares space with other ministry organisations like Anglicare and Benetas has been for me a very positive experience. Yes, there are difficulties working out space and its usage, expectations of people, yet I must say that I have enjoyed the partnerships we have here at Holy Apostles. I believe that is definitely the way forward for many reasons, but one of the most important reasons of all, it's where God is calling us to be.
In 2007, the Eastern Region Council identified the Plenty Growth Corridor as a strategic priority for church planting. The sale of property at Montmorency plus a CEDF grant and an ADF loan have enabled a vicarage to be built as a ministry basis for Craig, who's the priest in charge at the new parish of St Matthias Mernda, or Plenty Life. In 15 months, they've grown into a vibrant community of faith of over 100 adults and children who are bringing the good news to Mernda.
Plenty Life arose out of a great partnership with the Diocese, with key supporting churches and the local Anglican school, in an area that's growing by 172 people every week. From the outset, Plenty Life had as its vision to be organically connected to local community. And to this end, it's been pursuing the Sheffield model of missional community life, which seeks to meet people where they're at in their world rather than expecting them to step into ours. The vicarage serves that purpose by being a place where we can do life together, where we can be extended families on mission, and where we can grow into the likeness of Jesus.
250,000 people are expected to move into this area over the next 25 years. To meet this challenge, we've formed new partnerships with larger parishes to plant new churches in places like Officer.
Through Glen Waverley Anglican Church's partnership with the Diocese, we've been able to lay the foundations for a missional community within the suburb of Officer. Right now, we're searching for a suitable house to be used for both my family as well as to act as a central hub for this new Christian community.
There's so much more to do. This region in the northwest is the fastest growing residential area in Australia. The field behind me will soon be full of houses and no Anglican church to serve the people who will come to live here. We must take up the opportunity to secure land here and at each of the strategic locations in the growth corridors. Our property policy means we can buy land in growth areas, build vicarages and churches, and support the redevelopment of existing facilities. Investing in the future and strengthening present ministries is our goal. Imagine a future where vibrant Anglican communities of faith minister in each of the parishes of this diocese. Join with me in praying that these plans set the direction for growth and renewal.